Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is the Warm Down Podcast. This is part 2. If you've not seen part 1, go and check that out. The link is in the description or in the comments below. Today I am joined by Adam Boultwood. We've already had a little bit of a chat about United and Tottenham. This is just the questions from you guys on Twitter. Adam, how's it going, mate?
I'm good. I'm excited to get into these questions.
All right, so let's fire into some of these questions then. John Gibbons on Twitter, which trophy was the better win for Spurs this year? The we finished above Arsenal trophy or the we put pressure on Chelsea trophy?
The we finished above Arsenal trophy. Big trophy. Glad to have won it for the first time in 22 years. Massive, massive.
Right, okay, John Bishop. He was replying to someone, actually. Vikash Singh says, given Spurs' recent success, name the player and position needed to upgrade so as to fill the gap between first and second and reach the top.
God, that's tough, isn't it? I think Spurs have got one of the best starting 11s in the league. I mean, feel free to disagree, but I think they've got a fantastic team. I think it is about adding depth to the squad. I think we struggled when Harry Kane was out earlier in the season. At that point, people like Dele Alli, Eriksen weren't really contributing with goals, something they've improved towards the end of the season. So I think it's more depth in those sort of forward positions. We're almost missing a bit of pace and a bit of power out there. I think Moussa Sissoko was signed with that in mind. Obviously didn't live up to that at all. So, you know, someone like Wilfried Zaha I think would be a great option potentially off the bench. Someone who can bring something a little bit different in games where we're struggling to break down teams, struggling to get in behind. So definitely in that sort of front three, great podcast area. I think that's where we can maybe do with a signing.
Zaha's a great shout, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think maybe he's going to cost too much now, sort of hoping to see Palace go down just so we could get him on the cheap. But now, you know, he could be, 20, 30 million. So we'll see if Spurs get back for him.
What did we pay for him? 14? You can't really be paying more than we paid for him because it's just...
He's improved. He's had his best season ever. I think he's really impressed in the last sort of 4 or 5 months of Palace. I think the question mark will be over his consistency, whether he can do that again next season and over the course of the season. So that's why I think, you know, if we manage to get a good price from him, I think he'd be a good squad option, someone to bring on, as I said, someone who can maybe give us something different. If it's more than, 30 million, I think it's be ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Tab Red Jarley says, were Spurs upset after Carrick left, with Carrick, after he left to join United?
No, I think there was almost an acceptance at that time that was the sort of thing that happens to Spurs. I mean, Dimitar Berbatov as well went to Manchester United. I think, you know, it's difficult. For me personally, it was difficult to begrudge someone that's disappointing, but at the same time, you can sort of see Manchester United being the best club in England. They were challenging for the Champions Leagues and the Premier Leagues at the time. Maybe not anymore. But
well, at the time, actually, we'd gone 3 years without winning nothing.
But when did he go? Was that 2007?
2006, yeah. He started off 3 titles on the bounce.
There you go, yeah.
Entirely down to him, but it was on the back of 3 years of winning nothing.
Well, yeah, at that time, Manchester United were in a much better place than us to win titles and challenge for the big honours. So I don't think I can begrudge him too much. Gareth Bale as well, you know. Obviously, he went for a hell of a lot of money, which we absolutely wasted, but at the same time, you can't necessarily begrudge him going to Real Madrid, and he won the Champions League twice now, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's difficult to be annoyed when a Spurs player leaves for a bigger club. I think that's something that's changing now. If someone like Harry Kane or Dele Alli left now, I wouldn't really understand it. You're like, wow, we're in a much better position, we're in a much promising project. But at the time with Spurs, you know, it's understandable.
Graham Daly, will the low wage structure at Spurs catch up with them? And if Pochettino leaves in the next few years, will it all go downhill?
Well, we did just talk about this in part 1, actually. But yeah, I think Pochettino is key to everything. I think there's always been the feeling that all the ingredients are almost there for Spurs in terms of resource, in terms of the fan base, in terms of the stadium and the new stadium coming. Pochettino's come in, the right man at the right time, made everything click on and off the pitch. So I think he's absolutely vital to any success Spurs have. As we were saying in part 1, all the players have bought into him and what he's trying to do. So yeah, he is the one I think most fans are worried about. I don't think there's any chance he's going to leave this summer or next year. I think he's going to be here for at least another 2-3 seasons. But yeah, I think the challenge for him will be keeping the players together in the future if Spurs don't win silver, if they don't have those sort of markers of achievement and markers of improvement. Like I was saying, Harry Kane, I think, is on 100 and odd grand. Him and Christian Eriksen, I think, are the top earners. He could go to Manchester United tomorrow and double that, I'm sure. But I think at the moment there's not a danger of them leaving because Spurs are in a more promising position in the league. I think there's more potential there. So we'll see. I think that's something that could come into play next season or the season after. We have to wait and see.
We've already spoke about Wembley. Kaisland asks us about, do you think moving to Wembley is a bad thing? So I'll skip that one. That's in part 1 if you want to go and check that one out. Faisal says, who will finish higher next season with all things considered, like the stadium move, incomings, outgoings, etc.?
Oh, it's tough, isn't it? What do you reckon? It's tough because I think the Wembley factor is not going to be something that we can really understand until Spurs start playing the next season. We won't see what effect that really is going to have. I think there's reason to be worried about it. Again, as I was sort of saying in part 1, if Spurs can make smart signings, not something that they've necessarily been great at in the past. Things have been a bit hit and miss in the transfer market. There's so many intangibles, there's so many unknowables that it's difficult to say. I'll be tempted to say Tottenham now, based on the way we finish the season and the way things are going. But I think it's going to be very difficult. I think Manchester United are going to be much better next season. So I'd expect them to be on a similar footing almost.
I think one of the variants is which European competition United end up in next season. I think if it's Thursday night shite, I think I don't have much hope for us unless we bomb out of it, and we won't. If it's Champions League, I think we're going to win the league. Because I think Champions League means better signings than we're able to get if we're in the Europa League, and I think the ease of playing the Tuesday, Wednesday sort of games versus the Thursday, Sunday, which I know on the face of things is exactly the same rest period, but there's something in it. I don't know what it is, whether it's the travel. Or
I wonder if next year, for the third season in a row, we'll see the team who haven't got Champions League football win the league, be it Arsenal potentially, who look like they're going to finish outside top 4.
Yeah, they think it'll be 5th, don't they? So they'll be in Europa.
Yeah, maybe. But
it's going to be Everton.
Everton are going to win the league.
Everton are going to win the league.
There you go. We'll see.
Another one saying, who do you think Spurs need to sign to the next level? Why do you think Spurs struggle on the wider pitches? With the rumour that you're looking to reduce the size of Wembley?
That's interesting. I'm not sure. I think a lot of the width comes from the fullbacks, comes from Kyle Walker and Danny Rose. I think there's something about the defence being wider apart. The team's less compact. Spurs have got the best. Have they got the best defence in the league this season? I think it must be up there.
Yeah, I think you just beat us out again.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said. I don't think the White Hart Lane pitch is significantly smaller, but I think there's a difference of like 10 metres or so. So the players are sort of like 10 metres apart or something like extra. I think there's something about that extra space which makes things difficult in terms of the shape for Spurs, in terms of their defensive setup. But I think something hopefully we'll be able to adjust to in the first few games next season, playing all our home games there as well as Champions League. So I think hopefully it's something we'll be able to cope with. But we'll see.
Is there something to be said for when the crowd's just right fucking on top of you, like it is at White Hart Lane, like it used to be at Highbury, like it used to be at Upton Park, and then you go to these big, open, expansive, albeit pretty fucking stadiums. Like, look at West Ham since they moved. Look at Arsenal when they moved. They struggle like fuck.
It was a weird experience going from. White Hart Lane, like you say, where it's like almost like a cauldron-like atmosphere, where things are so intense, to Wembley, where it's like very cavernous. The noise just sort of escapes out of the stadium. You can't generate any atmosphere. You've got the different sections of the stadium singing to each other. White Hart Lane, everyone knows where everyone is, but then at Wembley, it's just completely different. So yeah, I think there is something to be said for that. I think that's something they're trying to avoid with the new stadium, building things quite close to the pitch. We've got that sort of massive free stand there.
Yeah, they've gone with the full stand behind the goal, haven't they, to try and replicate like the yellow wall and stuff.
Yeah,
I like that they've thought about stuff like that. Some of the stuff that they've decided to go with is mad, like this tunnel club and some of the other bananas things that they've included for obscene amounts of cash. I mean, I don't know. It's got to be businesses that are paying for those. There's no regular guy I think I'll fucking throw 30 grand at that on a season.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Ooh, okay, I better shoot off in about 2 minutes.
All right, we'll wrap it up there because that is the last of the questions anyway. So thank you to Adam for joining us. Where can everyone find you, mate?
Come and follow me on Twitter at Adam Boultwood, and also the Front Free Football Podcast on iTunes with me, Lawrence, Statman, Dave, and Chris. It's good stuff, and we try and get a mention of Stephen Howson in every single week.
I think there is a competition on the go, isn't there? Is there a talent?
Yeah, it's like a running joke, basically. Yeah,
gotta be. It's strange. Like I said, I think I texted you once, didn't I? I forget that I know you lot actually. When I'm sitting there drawing along,
every episode,
and I hear me, and I was like, "Oh, that's me."
There you go. You get a mention every episode. It's an honour. It should be an honour.
Thank you for joining us. Make sure to go and download the Front Free. It is a really good football podcast. I think it's. Someone said it's the best in there.
It's up there.
I think it probably is. I think it probably is. I like the Football Ramble as well, but I don't know them guys, so I'm gonna have to favour you fuckers. But that's a pretty good podcast too. But make sure you go and check out the Front Free. Link will be in the description below. I think you're Premier League anyway, at least. If not, you're probably top 4. Should we say that?
Yeah, we're in top four. Top 4.
Champions League qualifiers, easily. Stop recording right at the end there. We ran out of memory because of all the fucking videos that I record on here. And I only missed off the last 30 seconds. So here it is anyway, the last 30 seconds. Please subscribe if you've not already. Give it a big fat thumbs up. Get any of your questions in. Tomorrow's Jimmy Conrad. And next week we've got Sam Homewood on Monday for the warm down. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.